Alright, everybody, hello. Welcome to a market slash trade recap. Took a dub today, although I did not trade on my account. Singular. Um, it was a 80-point dub on Nasdaq. I didn't utilize both indexes for this, so I'm not gonna be showing. I didn't use SMTs. I didn't use. Actually, there is one thing I did use on ES. I think, and so I'm gonna pull that up real quick. Mm, it was one more candle. No, sorry, it wasn't. Okay, so first thing I'm seeing is, again, I'm not gonna like implement or add parts of the strategy that I trade into this that I didn't use. I woke up at 8 a.m. Mountain Time, which is 10 a.m. Eastern. So a little bit late, but I'm fine with that because as we see, price completely dumped. Like, there was no hesitation, it just dumped. Now, what I saw from this was we are clearly in an uptrend. We technically broke structure to the upside. We're still continuing up. We still have a lot of space to push up into, let's see if there's hourly, into hourly intermediate highs. Did we take them? Not fully. So this still interests me. We also can close this. We can trade to the top of this fair value gap. We can trade into this order block. I don't know if I use order blocks like mentally. I don't like mark them out or anything, but I use order blocks. So I'll just mark out that order block even though it did not get hit. Where is it? And you'll see it didn't get hit. Oops. Move up before a strong move down. Okay, we have that order block. Let's see if I can. How do I? That's not how I want to do it. Bruh. Bruh. Okay, well, I don't know how to. Whatever. I don't usually mark shit out like this. I just visualize it. So, let's look at this here. So, we're in an uptrend on the 4 hour, and if we look at ES, same shit. We haven't dumped quite into this EQ yet. I don't really give a shit, though, to be quite frank, because I'm not looking to take a crazy trade. Like, I'm not looking. Oh my gosh, I keep forgetting that it shows my drawings. I don't even necessarily put it at the wick. I don't really care. Um, I guess I'll just turn on my drawings. Okay, so I marked out EQ at open. Let's see what time. 9:55 a.m. Okay, yeah. So I marked out EQ. Um, right here. As you can see, we're bouncing it. You can't really tell, but we are bouncing it, or we do bounce it. Um, soon. So I wait for price to bounce that. And interestingly enough, if we go to the 1 hour, we're in the middle of the fair value gap. We have, like, you know, lows here that aren't necessarily significant, but we have another fair value gap. We have like a sort of a breaker block here that price was trying to break and then broke through. So that's kind of like a key level here. But let's go to the 15 minute. So what I'm looking for pretty much is price to either react out of equilibrium, which would be here, or for price to push lower and kind of look for a continuation, um, or for price to push into this sort of this breaker block sort of situation, this key level here with this fair value gap. I don't even know if this is considered an intermediate low, but like I kind of like it. It's kind of like relative equal lows, intermediate. It didn't push into the fair value gap, but I like this. I like this zone here, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking for, and price ends up pushing into that. I'm pretty sure. So we can also mark out that whole zone here. We got that. We got that. God, I hate marking shit out. That order block, and then that just key level with sort of an intermediate low there. Um, and let's see what price does. Sorry, it's a little bit. I'm not really used to like drawing stuff out and posting it, but I'll get used to it. So 15-minute. We'll go to the 5-minute. Another thing I was looking at here, don't close, was that we have um, sort of a discrepancy between, or like a difference between how far ES is pushed and how far Nasdaq is pushed. And so what I was kind of looking for was a bit of a retracement before price either dumps or continues up. So I didn't necessarily have a full bias. I was just playing off EQ because I really like to play off EQ. I was also playing off the key levels um, on the 15-minute and sort of like the hourly. This kind of like, you know, these draws and liquidity here. Very small, but you get the point. The 4 hours kind of where I gathered my bias here. So price ends up. I hate these red. In fact, 1 second. I'm gonna change these. There we go. Diamonds on my head. And again, we have these intermediate highs up here, which I was really looking to target. Oops. Although I can't remember if they got traded into. I don't know. We'll see. But go to the 5-minute. My trade's like marked out here. So it's pretty fucking annoying. But oops. So we're looking for price to kind of push down here, right? So let's see what price does. Price comes down, fully fills this fair value gap, right? If we go to the 15-minute, fills the fair value gap, almost taps into those lows, but now I'm pretty much looking for a reaction, trading up into these gaps. But obviously we have to form good structure first, so I'm kind of waiting on that. At this point, it's 10 a.m. So this is around the time I woke up. So this is around the time when I'm like, okay, I'm looking for buys, right? Not necessarily like a long play. I'm not looking to be in a trade for 30 minutes. I'm looking to be a trade for 5 minutes, like literally 5 minutes. I don't really care. I'm just targeting, strong draws. So, if we go to the 5-minute, let price play out for a bit. Price comes lower, sweeps out lows, and then we see that price just dumps, right? It completely dumps and it completely sweeps these lows. Okay, this is really interesting to me because I'm seeing, okay, now what do we have here, right? Obviously, this is so fucking annoying because I don't want it to show the rest of the fucking 4-hour candle because it literally is irrelevant to my trade. But price did come down here and sweep EQ, and react off EQ. So that's what I was seeing in real time um, when I traded, if that makes sense. Also, technically EQ would be a little bit higher, I believe, but it doesn't really matter. So price comes down into EQ into discount. Um, why does this? Whatever. Doesn't matter. That's what I saw. Okay. We come down. We sweep these lows. These lows are. I'm pretty sure. It swept New York AM lows previous day. I'm gonna look at the sessions real quick. Yeah. So it swept New York AM lows previous. Why does it do this? So fucking annoying. Sorry guys. I'm still getting used to this shit. But you'll get the point of my trade. As you see, we had a little retracement here. That's where I took my trade, I believe. Yeah. So we swept New York AM lows, and tapped into a fair value gap slash order block, whatever you want to call it. I mean, they're two different things. So God, I'm gonna lose my mind. I don't even know where we were at. Okay. So now it's 10:15. We'll let price play out a little bit. I'm just gonna let it play out on the 1 minute because I took a trade off the 1 minute. Obviously, you see we have draws everywhere. Um, we have intermediate, intermediate, intermediate. We have so much shit. We also did we create a SMT on any higher time frame below the 5 minute? I don't know. Let's see. Diamonds on my head, diamonds on my shoe. 10, 12, 10, 12. Doesn't seem like it. Let's see if we've created a high here. No. Okay. So now I'm kind of like, okay, what are we looking for here? We're looking for a manipulation leg, and we're looking for an inversion to target these intermediate highs and move lower. The reason being, again, I saw equilibrium get hit, which is not showing here, but it was right here. It did react off equilibrium while I was awake, so I'm like, okay, we could pull up into these EMAs. We could um, be targeting these, you know, these key levels here or all-time highs. So that's what I was looking for. I was also completely okay with a continuation lower. Obviously, it did continue lower, but I don't really give a shit because look at all this chop here. There's a ton of chop. I caught the one move. The one move that ended up taking 80 points. It was 80 points, I believe. So I hate that this just doesn't want to stay. 10, 20, cool. Okay, so if I'm not even looking at ES at this point, by the way. I'm just kind of like, okay, we're looking for the highest time from inversion, and we're going to take it off that because of EQ. We tapped into my key level that I was looking at, this order block here, and we filled this fair value gap, swept liquidity, yada, 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 right? It doesn't have to be complicated. I haven't traded in 3 weeks. So I'm just like, let's keep this simple. By the way, guys, sorry for not uploading. I know no one's fucking watching, but I don't really care. Except for the real ones. I had the flu for 2 weeks and have been sick on and off for a month, so my confidence going into the morning was very low, but at the same time, I needed to trust myself, and it did play out. So, let's go to the 1 minute here. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing price kind of bouncing off of this key level here. And I'm like, okay, are we gonna inverse up? Let's look at the higher time frames first. 5 minute, we don't have good structure. We have a leg down, but I'd need to wait for it to break all the way up here. So we don't get that, and I'll show you why. So we had, oh, that's so annoying, man. Okay, never mind. So we have, I'm just gonna let it play out and then explain it because my brain doesn't really work in the sense that it can like manage all this. So right now we have a sweep. and we have a break here. Okay. Now, I'm not seeing any reason to enter yet, just because we don't have like a 3 minute inversion. We're still in a downtrend. Like, I, I'm just not seeing, as well as we have a 2 minute fair value gap that didn't get broken through. So I was watching this, I was like, that didn't get broken through, I'm not trading. Obviously, we have a ton of stuff to target before either continuing up or moving lower, but I'm not in there. So I'm like, okay, nothing yet. We're creating all of these intermediate highs, and I'm like, this is great. We're creating a ton of structure to trade into. So then I'm like, okay, let's look for a manipulation leg and let's get in. So we have a manipulation leg, I believe it was here, and then we come down into there, and I'm like, okay, we're either going to break by it or we're not. So right here, we did break through um, this fair value gap, but I wasn't really worried about it, and the reason I wasn't worried about it, God, the drawings are so fucking annoying. The reason I wasn't worried about it is because of the fact that we were in that key level, we hit equilibrium, I'm looking for a reaction to take out more liquidity to move lower. So, that's my thought process. So, we let it play out. We get our inversion, and I'm in right here. As you can see, um, stops at the low, TP up at the highest. Wait. Oh my gosh. TP at the intermediate highs here, so that we can sweep and move lower or move higher, and I can trail that. So let's see what happens with the trade. I'm trying to get rid of these. Obviously, also we have this kind of like double breaker here. So I'm like, if we push past this, we're chilling. We'll hold to here, hold to this level, right there, highest intermediate high inside of that fair value gap, and then we will set our stops break even if we hit that point, and if we keep continuing up, we will, or I mean, we'll hit that point and we'll set our stops break. Why am I pointing at the screen? We'll hit this, we'll set our stops break even, trim our position, although I don't have enough accounts to trim my position, that's what I'm working towards. And we will try to trail to these highs, or we will get stopped out after hitting our break even, or we'll just consolidate, right? So a ton of stuff can happen here. So, sorry, that was my this was my target. I think. I don't remember. Highest high inside the internal structure here, the PD array, whatever you want to call it. So, we'll see how it plays out. I took this in live time. Okay. So this is where I was like, okay, we didn't fully sweep all this. I'm in the trade. I'm not break even. Nothing like that. I could have, been a bitch and just close my position, but why would I do that? I trust this trade. It's not exactly. I'm sure anyone who's watching this is probably familiar with the PB theory, and the mech model. I don't really even know the mech model. I know a lot of the PB theory, but I also trade my own way, which I'm figuring out. I'm learning as I go. So I'm like, okay, I like this trade anyways. I don't really care. I'm holding. I expect price to go higher before we want to inverse to go lower and seek out maybe filling the 4 hour or going even lower, right? So I held. We go break even. We go a little bit under break even. We got a fat candle up. Break this high. Break a structure. Shift in structure, I guess you could call it. This is where I could have. So I went break even here. And then I could have TP'd. So a 1.08, I would have TP'd right here on one account. Now, if I was trimming position, I think this is where my take profit was, then I would have held the rest of my trade. Boom. Smashed. We get a reaction. And let's see what price does after. Now, from here, I could have made the mistake, and I did mark this out. I was like, okay, let's trade a continuation, right? So, one thing I learned today is that you don't really trade continuations off the 1 minute because it's not strong enough, especially this late in the session. So, what some people could have saw is this. Here, inversion. Oops. Stops at the low. Targeting 1-to-1 realistically. One to one. And we'll see how that plays out. It doesn't, right? Now, the reason being for that is because we don't, like, it just, we're not targeting anything here. The price would have to move. I mean, obviously, like, you could have a buy side, buy side, you could be predicting that the market's going to go up, and I could totally understand that, but again, it's just too late in the too late in the session for me, and for really anyone unless they're trading a different strategy. And we took out that key target. We took out those intermediate highs. That's what I was looking for. We had the strong move up. We grabbed it, moved down. You could expect it to go higher, but we're on the 1 minute, right? Not a lot of volatility. No point. So price ends up playing out lower, I believe. And then we take out these lows, so you actually could have traded. Let's see if there's an entry to the downside. I mean, as you can see, this is consolidation. You could have traded off an inverse on this 2 minute, but we got, like, we really didn't even get a closure. And stops would be there. TP would be. I mean, I don't even know where TP would be, so I wouldn't take it. Yeah, so that trade would have lost. But this was the trade of the day for me. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. I'm going to check my notes. SWEC New York AMLO. Key level here. Bouncing it. Obviously, this is the move we caught. Waited for price to manipulate lower, which it did, because obviously people take this inversion. They're like, oh, we're going to be good. Stops, below the low here. Obviously, they would have got stopped out. Price moved up. Targeted a 1-to-1 originally, but then I'm like, you know what? I see price going higher. These aren't really highs that I see being swept and price moving lower. Off of them yet, I see these intermediate highs being more prominent. They're very pronounced in my mind. What else do we have? This trade would have been $1,550 profit on one mini, I believe. So across 5 accounts, that's 5,717, or sorry, 7,500. I think that would be across 5 accounts. That's the goal. So that would be a very, very profitable day. Would have trimmed a bit, so probably would have been like a 5K day. Anything else? let's talk about structure. So I'm still trying to fully grasp structure. Um, so what I'm seeing here, to me, this isn't necessarily bad structure. Um, Obviously, we have a lot of good structure up here. We have all these fair value gaps. We have intermediate highs. Blah 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 blah. Um, what I could have been looking for was like, you know, price to move lower, price to move up, price to move into a gap, inverse a gap. I did that on the 1 minute. I didn't see anything on the 2 minute. Let's see if I could have caught something on the 2 minute. I mean, it's just not an entry on the 2 minute. That's the thing. So I wasn't necessarily playing off of 1 minute structure here. I was more like looking at the levels that we're on, trading those levels and trusting those levels and trusting equilibrium, trusting in an inversion, but also that manipulation leg. I didn't enter off that first inversion. Sorry, that first inversion here because we have a manipulation leg. We don't really have um, structure yet. So we came down, created some structure here, kind of manipulated lower, and then broke up. That's kind of the structure that I was seeing there. And then we had a little bit of capitul not capitulation. We had a little bit of a stagnant sequence in price. Came down a little bit, wasn't worried about it. Broke this fair value gap very weakly. I'm like, I'm in it. I'm still in it. I trust it, and boom. So we hit it. So yeah, that was our 1 to 2.2 for the day. 1550 profit. Um, yeah. As you can see, I did not take a trade. Account summary. That's not right. Hmm. What? I should not be below 50K. That's weird. Why is my... Hello? Huh. That's weird because I was actually up around 800 on my account. But, you know, I don't know. Whatever. Um, Point being, no orders taken, or no trades taken. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up the recap. Thank you for watching. How do I don't even know how this shit works. Thank you for watching. I know it's a bit all over the place, but I've been sick. I haven't been trading and still took a dub, so that's nice. The goal right now is scaling to 5 accounts, hopefully 550Ks, and getting payouts across those, and then just getting a good buffer on those. So thank you guys for watching. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.